What's good, y'all? This your country cousin Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Petey Mac. Man, get on up here. Pull you up one, light you up one, kick your shoes off, relax, baby. You around family. We on the porch. It's Pete McCorvey's Porch Talk. Let's do this. Yo, what's up, family? This your country cousin, Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Petey Mac. Welcome back to the porch. We made it through another week, man. I'm so happy to be with y'all. I'm about to go to an island for 2 weeks on Sunday. So I'm really happy, really excited. I'll be taking pictures. I'll tell y'all about it. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll tell y'all after I get there and tell you how my first week went there. But, hey, man, I'm about to be back under some palm trees. Nice sunset. Most likely some warm water. I haven't been there yet. I got to check and put my feet in the water, see what the water going to be like. Laying on the beach, sipping my pineapple and club soda because I'm still not messing with the alcohol. With that Larry June play. You know that Larry June going to be there. Oh, Larry June going to always be there. He going to always be the vibe for relaxing or grinding or whatnot. Speaking of new music, you know, it's a lot of my people has released new music. But I'm about to tell you, it's like telling you water's wet, but LaRussell released another album, Sobriety. I'm going to have to check that out at a later date because, you know, LaRussell, he released so much music. He dropped more music than the CIA dropped Dope in the Hood in the 80s, man. So yeah, I gotta take time out to listen to that. Who I did listen to two new albums by two of my favorite artists. One is $. He released a new album entitled Water Under the Bridge. And yeah, it's more smooth, player type. It's not like his usual like street vibe, like neo G-funk type of vibe. He went back to that old Montique he used to do where he just got a blank album cover, no words on it. But it's like real smooth, real player. Something you can put on with your lady. Like if you want to chill out with something after a long day of work, you can, you know, sip on something. If you sip on something, you smoke something, you can put one in there and just vibe out and relax and, you know, get your mind right. So it was a different. I was expecting more of a like riding around, you know, bumping vibe, but it was real smooth, laid back type of vibe. Westside Web released another album, Self-Made. It rides beautiful. Actually had $. On the last track on the album. So, you know, it was great to have my favorite artists on there. Love the production, love his sound. There's another single that got released. Dom Kennedy, you know, Lamert Park Dom. He released a song with Brody Fresh called Rolling Through Elmont. Of course, you know, Dom ain't gonna never miss. So I'm not even surprised about that. Sporting World. Oh my God. I got two oh my gods. Number one is about my Atlanta Braves. They didn't bounce back like Juvenile in 03. They are now 14-16 and are third in the NL East. Woo, I was worried about them. They looking like they bouncing back. They shaking off, knocking off the cobwebs or whatnot. But they probably finna be 14-17 because in a couple of hours they are playing the defending Major League champs and my backup team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, I do have two favorite teams, and I'm going to be honest. Well, one, everybody knows I am a fan of all things LA at heart. I'm a fan of, the culture out there. I'm a fan of the music. Definitely a fan of the women because they got a lot of, them Mexican women out there, i.e. Latinas. Just a fan of the vibe as a whole. So, like one of my homies told me from LA, like I said once before, he said, man, in your past life, he said you was a rolling 60 who went to Crenshaw High School. And I'm thankful for God that it was in my past life because, boy, knowing me, I didn't play sports. I wasn't too smart. I definitely would have been probably all the way in the street. Probably got my head blown off as wild as I am. So thank God that was a former life and not the one we have right now. And also, too, I'm going to keep it funky with y'all. I like LA because that LA Dodger hat, that's a fly ass hat. That's a fly ass fucking hat. That's a beautiful hat, man. Yes, I do wear baseball caps because they're fashionable. I'm not a fan of the team. If I'm not a fan of the team, I'm going to wear the hat because I am a product of the 90s and the early 2000s. We wore shit to match or to coordinate with our clothes. That's just how we did. Moving on to like TV and movies. TV is really starting to ramp up. So I'm gonna talk about two new coming attractions that I have seen and I'm real hyped about. One of them is I was ready to write this show off, and I'm still kind of ready to write this show off, but they brought back some people, and I'm gonna have to rock with them because they brought the people back, and that is BMF. BMF has got a new season. They done brought back B. Mickey, but I'm really happy because you know who else they brought back? They brought back Mr. You Can't Stop the Rain himself, Lamar. Lamar is back, baby. Yes! The Creator 50 and the rest of the show creators read our minds and they brought Buddy back. Thank you, God. Because after what y'all gave us with that wild ass Henrietta last year, trying to do that to, because, everybody gotta throw a LGBTQ plus person in there, even if they not needed, because that's definitely what you threw Henrietta in there for. After that little debacle of a character she was, he did with this like how he did on season 6 of the OG Power series when he had Trey Songz sing the theme song for the first 2 episodes, and everybody was like, man, if you don't get rid of this shit and bring us back Joe, we ain't watching. And 50 Cent realized, I gotta bring him back. So I'm happy he came back. Hopefully it can redeem this season, because like I said, from the trailer they've been showing, before they showed this new trailer with B, Mickey, and Lamar, that shit looked like your average Tubi movie in Detroit meets Narcos on Netflix. So I'm hoping that B, Mickey, and Lamar, they can save this season coming up, man. Also, there's another show. I just saw the trailer for it on YouTube. It's called She the People, and it stars Terry J. Vaughn, who most of y'all know as Levita Alizé Jenkins from the Steve Harvey Show back in the day, or Lovey as her Sadie Bell used to call her. If you watch the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about with them names. She is like playing the newly elected lieutenant governor of the state of Mississippi, and it looked like it's decent comedy. It's not looking like, and it's looking good because they have Joan Marie Payton in there, who y'all don't know her name. That is Harriet, the OG Harriet, not that bullshit they gave us in the later seasons from Family Matters, and also boy Sugar Mama on the Proud Family. She's in there, and they also got Mojo Brooks on there, a comedian from Detroit who got real famous online. If you remember his Mr. James skit where he always go, oh that little pussy, and then he'll just say whatever it's been. It's like, no, it's not. It gotta be. And they go, Smitty, shorter though. He in there. So like I said, I'm looking forward to it because it looks like it's actually showing us a good light. And as a black Mississippian, I'm going to say this, Tyler Perry, please, please, please do right by us. Because it's already when people think of Mississippi, they already got these stereotypes that we dumb, ignorant, ain't never been nowhere, ain't never seen nothing, and don't know nothing. We doing good with Sinners. Sinners was a great representation of black Mississippians, especially with their contribution to history. So I need you to not let us fall short with that momentum. Let's keep that momentum rolling because the first part of it is coming out May 22nd on Netflix, so I'm definitely going to tune in for that. Now on to the shows that I always review, and I'm going to go in order by how I've seen them. So I'm going to start with Godfather of Harlem, this week's episode of Godfather of Harlem that premiered this past Sunday. Godfather of Harlem is, I'm starting to scratch my head. I mean, the acting by Forrest Whitaker and this supporting cast, the acting is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's just, they starting to dilute history. They starting to dilute history a lot now. And that's one thing about me, I'm real big on this. First of all, like I told y'all last episode, they got Frank Lucas on there, and his storyline just some shit they threw together. And they kind of made me mad on this episode. When it started the episode, he had like finger waves, little low finger waves. You go back and watch the episode, he had little low finger waves in his head. Then toward the end, like he just got like a little low fade. I mean, you still can tell he got that straight hair. But how did it go from just being them finger waves he had to now just a regular fade? They got Elise. Now she joining the Black Panthers in 1966 when the chapter of the Black Panthers didn't open up to 1968. And then the woman who introduced her to the Panthers, the lady who introduced her to the Panthers, I'm going to let y'all have a wild guess of who this lady was that she talked to in there that introduced her to the Panthers. It was Afeni Shakur. And I knew it was Afeni Shakur when I watched it, because when I saw Elise talking to the woman, I said, I bet you any kind of money that's Afeni Shakur. Which told me up, because at that time, Afeni Shakur was 18, 19 years old. And like on top of the fact, the Black Panthers had not formed in Harlem yet. It's 1966. They was barely getting formed. They had just barely become formed out in Oakland, California. So it's just a lot of, they're not even being like somewhat historic accurate. They just, okay, it's in this time period. We just gonna put this in there. Nobody know. So I'm really kind of, I don't know. I don't know about Godfather Harlem. They kind of making me mad with the way they're doing things. On to The Rookie. The Rookie. This episode this past week was this was a good episode. It had mixed emotions with this episode. So Seth finds his way back. If y'all remember Seth, he was the rookie that kept lying about it. He just was a habitual liar. Might have even been, I don't think he was a pathological, I think he was a chronological liar. You know, that's the people who tell lies to believe themselves versus a pathological liar. They tell lies and they believe it. So they ended up bringing him back, and when he came back, and they said he came back because he sued the department for wrongful termination on the basis of medical discrimination. And he won. He got put back in. Beat that case, got put back in. and got a $10,000 settlement. So when they found out it happened, he came back in the mid-Wilshire division. As soon as he hit the floor, every officer in there symbolically turned their back on. Like they literally did it, but it was symbolic of like letting them know, yeah, we don't fuck with you. They all turned away from him with their back on it. But their backs on him but didn't say anything. Lucy was on that boy head, cause you know her little young mentee she lets live with her, Tamara. She was liking herself. So she talked Lucy into letting them have dinner, which they end up having at Tim's house because he has a bigger place. And they see that he gave Tamara a ring. And Lucy Grizzy, like, that engagement ring? He's like, no, that's kind of a promise ring and all that, just the promise of that. And Raj, who I'm not gonna lie, Raj has low-key been pissing me off. Raj low-key was my favorite this episode. Raj said, that's an engagement ring. He basically he's like, motherfucker, you can dress it up all you want to, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what an engagement ring is. And you know, Seth was like, well, I came into a lot of money. Then Lucy got on his ass. Lucy said, you mean the money that you got from the termination that you sued for? That's the money. Lucy wasn't playing with that boy. Lucy was on that boy head, man. And low-key, I got turned on because I'm not going to lie. Melissa O'Neal already sexy as hell as Lucy, but to watch her get heated about something, because Lucy's like pretty much fair, easy going. So watch her get heated. That was cool to see. I'm not gonna lie, Nolan was on that boy head. Nolan was treating him the whole episode like he was like, you sneeze wrong, I'm getting you out of here. Nolan was on his head the way now Lieutenant Wade was on his head as Sergeant Wade when Nolan first came in. Like he was Sergeant Gray to how he was Nolan's wicked. But it was just like, it showed like how Nolan has come, because Nolan been badass this year. Nolan's always been low key, but now he just overtly badass this season. So they respond, but now this is where the episode take a turn. They respond to a call. They get into a shootout. Seth covers his back. You know, Nolan gets the drop on the shooter, hits the shooter in the shoulder. Now the shooter got a shotgun. So while the shooter's trying to get Nolan, Seth ends up popping the shooter, but he doesn't kill him. We thought he neutralized him. But the shooter swung on him while he was down with the shotgun, put the buckshots in his leg. And the acting by Seth's actor, you would have really thought that man got shot. He sold that perfectly. It was the anguish he had. He was screaming and all that. And, oh man, that was some great acting. If they doing Emmys, I think they do Emmys for Best Guest Star. He ought to be up for Best Guest Star in a drama series, because his role, he acted that. But unfortunately, Seth had to end up getting his leg amputated because the damage was so bad they had to amputate his leg. And he redeemed himself, but unfortunately, by doing that, he ended up spilling the beans to Tamara about him lying that he had cancer and all that. And she said, well, Lucy was right about you. I never knew you. She takes the promissory ring off, and that's it. So while he redeemed himself, it's what they call a perfect victory. If you, I'm not going to explain it to you. If you've seen 187, you remember when old girl at the end of the movie explained what a perfect victory is. Or if you hadn't, just type in 187 graduation scene and she'll tell you exactly what perfect victory is. The short definition of it, it's a victory that comes at a very great price. And that was what happened with him. I'm going to need somebody. That episode is great, but like I said, I'm going to need somebody, or I'm going to need Derek Augustine, or Augustine, I don't know how you pronounce it, who plays Miles. I'm going to have to get that man to really sit down and talk to the people about that Texas accent and some of the shit he be saying. He said some of the countryest shit in the beginning. First of all, they had to come in with the cowboy hat on with the vest and the bow. Then he said some of the countryest shit, and I'm like, this dude really. I'm like, bro, please go talk to them next season and be like, look, man, can y'all do? Because like I said, I've gone back and seen this dude in other stuff, and I recognize as soon as I've seen him in other stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's Buddy from, okay, what's good? He getting his shine on. Love the fact that I'm seeing him working. Never hate on a black man working. Even in this episode, he showed up and showed he had a little heart about himself. And he showed like how self-lying really hurt him. Because he said, we was boys in the academy and all that. It's like, you just a liar. And then Self was like, well, it's better being a liar than a has-been who can't let go. And then he clocked Steph's ass. Not Steph, he's Steph's ass. He clocked his ass, boy. I'm talking about and this is where the shit got weird. Like, you lying to us, this boy was a former D1 running back, and we see Steph's size. Y'all gonna want us to really believe that Steph was gonna hang with Miles, and if they get to throwing him, like, come on, man. I was watching TV like, okay, man, Miles would slid that boy with ease. But it's TV, you know what they gotta do. But yeah, that accent and some of the shit they be having them saying, like, it's supposed to be for some country, like, bumpkin Texas white dude. But it just, yeah, I'm not feeling it. That's the only issue I had with the episode. That and the fact we didn't really get to see Nala and Angela as much in this episode as we would like to. Because, you know, they're a very badass, sexy duo. But it is what it is. So, now we're going to move on to Raising Kanan. Oh, this episode got good. I was so happy about this episode. OC, wow. I got mixed emotions about this episode, too, because OC ends up getting what he deserves. And he 100% deserve it. But the way they did it, you made it seem, you felt real bad, man. You felt real sad for him. Because it's like he was just a dude trying to get by. And he was just scared, just trying to do what he had to do. And Unique just overreacted, man. Like, Unique just, it was like, dang, it's sad. Juke still badass. She pulled a scene like when they went to look for OC because he went missing. She went to talk to his brother. And brother being oblivious that this clearly a gay woman in front of you. He trying to press up on her, boy. Juke hit him with some of them damn, like Jason Statham from the Transporter movie that put the gun to his head. And was like, I told you lay up on me with your brother, and he said you wouldn't be sitting here with this lump on your head if all you did just told me you weren't here. Like, Juke she studied being badass. Marv was pulling the kick though at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? His homeboy that he let get the book spot from Stefano. He didn't have to go clean that up. He didn't have to go kill his accomplice who killed the mob guy from Howard Beach. And yeah, Marv had to clean that up. So, but the thing about this episode, who I'm really happy to see the Lulu that we know and love come back. Lulu came back full effect, baby. He came back full effect in this episode, and I was here for it, and I love every second of it. Like, B Rilla tells him about the botched mansion invasion that they had. And as they go on, they know that the dude has got the drop on them to, like, woke people. And this is a prime example of the people he did it with, them people in that bookstore that's woke. It's a prime example. I tell y'all, be careful them motherfuckers always talking this black man is God and all this, and I always stay woke and grand rise and queen. Be careful of them, because them motherfuckers be the most ignorant. They more ignorant than the people that's ratchet out there shaking their ass, screaming, get it, bitch, yo, and all that. I told y'all about that. So B Rilla, while they walking to the studio, he tells Lou, he's like, they talk about how the Lou Thomas you used to be. And Lou looked at him and said, no, I'm still like that. And at the end, Lou showed that he is still like that. That man, Lou, he went back to the Lou we saw in the very first episode of season 1, when Unique was calling himself, trying to lean on him, and he had his club sandwich. He like, my shit getting soggy. You mind if I get into it? That's the Lou I've been waiting on for 2 seasons, the last 2 seasons. Before y'all turning him into this drunk, crying, tender dick mess. That's the Lou Thomas, or a.k.a. Uncle Lulu, that we want back. Y'all gave him back, and I'm so happy, and I appreciate that. Love that. I loved every minute of that last scene when he did what he had to do. It was beautiful. That's the one who was my favorite character when the show first started. So thank you, 50. Thank you for bringing Uncle Lulu back. Now, the person who I'm really starting to let my guard down and trust, because she looks like she actually is on some real shit with Kanan, but I have a nagging suspicion, knowing what we know in old G series of Power, she ain't gonna make it through, is Crystal. Crystal is really there. She trying to tell Kanan, look, I know you don't trust your mom, because that's a running theme with Kanan. Kanan is always, Rock did it, my mother did it. He got the same type of syndrome that Freddie had on a pup named Scooby-Doo whenever it came to something happen. It's red herring. I swear to God. Rock is Kanan's red herring. The wind could blow. It's my mother. It's Rock. She did that shit. Bro, Rock is sleeping in the bed, dog, and it's just the way. It's my mother. She did that. Crystal stepped in and said, I don't believe she did it. Because he's still thinking she has something to do with Fame. He said, I don't believe your mother did that. He said, I saw her at the club when we were celebrating Fame, and I just looked, I could tell she did. Then she went over and went to even talk to Rock and was like, he needs you right now. I said, I can't be there for him like I want, because it's starting to get hot with all the stuff going on with Unique coming back and OC coming up missing. So he sent her out of town to keep her safe, and she was like, I can't be here for him because he sent me away, but you can, you his mother. But as she going out of town, it's like 2 dirty cops that work for the detective that Snap and Pop got in their back pocket. That's like Kanan's Connect, played by Wendell Pierce. Y'all know it's Buck from The Wire. And I'm not sure what the lady who plays his wife's name is. I charged that to my head, not my heart. They set that in motion to kidnap, like Crystal, to hold us so they can try to bleed Kanan out. And from the preview we saw, they sent her down through that jail, because like she looked like she was in her underwear or whatnot. But Yeah, so it's getting real. We got like 2 episodes left. Because this is episode 8, so now we got 9 and 10. And that's over. And then season 5 should be coming right around the corner. Because they was already shooting season 5 before season 4 even got released. So it's getting good. Now, them all my shows, man. Netflix also did their big one with this. They got a new docu-series out called Turning Point, and it's about the Vietnam War. And anybody who know me, y'all know I love studying about the Vietnam War. Because, that's when the brothers, they gave way to the brothers that we know all became the dope dealers, the pimps, the revolutionaries, just they was the ones that actually was going to stand up and they didn't hide it undercover. They was going to stand up, they was going to be black, they was going to be proud, they was going to be bold. So I'll let y'all know how that ends and what my thoughts on that is next week. But like I said, entertainment-wise, sports-wise, it's really not that bad for me. Life is just what it is right now for me. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's too hard right now. I ain't gonna say it's too light, but I damn sure ain't gonna say it's just right. But hey, like Fury Styles said on Boys in the Hood, when his baby mama, when Rita, played by Angela Bassett, and Fury Styles played by Lawrence Fishburne, when Rita asks Furious, how you doing? I'm just gonna say about life like he said. He said, I'm living. That's enough for me. So anyway, y'all, that's been my time on the porch this week. Y'all can find me on Facebook. You see my name, what it is in the title. That's how you get me. Or you can find me on Instagram, PETEYMAC10. Or you can find me on TikTok, PeterMac89, spelled the same way as PeterMac10. On Instagram, just except for the 1 and the 0, put an 8 and a 9 up there. Until next week, y'all be cool, stay calm, and get paid. Peace.